The world is opening back up and it is time to use up that travel budget. But does anyone else feel like airfare has gone up significantly? Not to worry. If you are looking to save on a cash ticket, check out App in the Air. You can download the app for free by using the link in the show notes, and you will get 20% off of your next flight when you book directly through App in the Air by using the code Geobreeze at checkout. Thank you to App in the Air for partnering with this episode of the Geobreeze Travel Podcast. Welcome to the Geobreeze Travel Podcast, a show for anyone wanting to level up their travel hacking lifestyle. I'm your host, Julia Menez. I'm a travel hacker, coach, speaker, Filipino-American ENTJ who loves solid travel gear and using shortcuts on spreadsheets. On this show, I'm on a mission to bring you travel hackers from all walks of life to help you level up your travel hacking game. We dive into credit cards, miles, points, strategy, mindset, and the secrets behind how to travel the world for next to no cost. So let's get hacking.
I hate the 1 cent, 2 cent evaluation because this is why, and I'm telling you why I hate that. I'm like, it's bogus. That's because the US, they have to put a number on every damn thing. Everything has to be a number. Well, how much am I getting? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, is it really 2 cents evaluation? Here's why. You're evaluating that shit at Delta's rate. Delta's trash. Don't get me wrong. I love Delta. Delta's my favorite. That's what I tell people. Like, how do you talk about Delta? Because I don't have any loyalty to any of them. But Delta is my favorite U.S. carrier. Is it my favorite over? Hell no. Qatar and Emirates is killing it. When it comes to business class and things of that nature and how many points it takes. I went to Qatar Airways Q Suites was 140,000 miles round trip. You're not getting that on Delta One. It's just not happening. So the evaluations that Americans, and the reason why it's Americans, because most credit cards here, this is what we cater to, they give this evaluation. They also give that trash evaluation because they base it on if you are going to buy items on Amazon. You go to Amazon, you want to buy an iPhone or something. I don't just give it anything, $1,500 item. It's like, oh, it'll run you 300,000 points. You know what I mean? You can get it. If you got these stockpile of points, you go, oh, free iPhone, $1,500? That's not worth it. You can literally, that's 300,000 points. That's like two $5,000 seats in Emirates Airlines.
Hey there, points people. You just heard a clip from Ronnie Dunston. Ronnie has traveled to more than 100 countries and has been in the points game since 2013. He currently works full-time for the federal government as an IT training specialist, and he teaches as an adjunct professor in the College of Business and Technology and also teaches people how to travel through his Tricks to Travel course and Facebook group. In this episode, Ronnie and I discuss how he earns more than 2 million Hilton points almost passively every year without churning credit cards. They get a few through referrals each year, but largely they earn their points by leveraging the Hilton Grand Vacations program, and they haven't paid for a hotel in years. This method has allowed them to stay for free in destinations such as Tahiti, the Maldives, and more. If you are looking to earn more Hilton points, one of the cards mentioned in today's episode is the Hilton Surpass card, which is a great card for people looking to get started with Hilton points. You will earn automatic Hilton Honors Gold status and 12 or more points per dollar when you put hotel spend from qualifying Hilton hotels on your card. If you are interested in this card, always use a friend or creator's referral link. Please don't apply through Google. If you're interested in supporting this show when you apply for your next card, check out geobreezetravel.com/cards, and we have a direct link to the Hilton Surpass for you in the show notes as well. And now, on with the show. Hey, Ronnie, welcome to the Geobreeze Travel Podcast.
Hey, Julia, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to have you here today. Tell us about yourself. How did you get into points and miles? How have you traveled to more than 100 countries?
About myself is one, people always think that I'm in the travel industry, and I'm not in the travel industry. I don't work. I'm not a travel agent. I don't, I'm not to knock any of those, of course, but I'm not a travel agent. I don't work for an airline, and I don't work for a hotel. So I have a full-time job, 9 to 5. I actually work for the federal government. And I do IT. I do pretty much IT training specialist. So the way it came about was Road to 100 Countries was originally just a personal goal. It was something where I was just like, well, originally I was always catching deals, just flying in deals. And then my wife was like, you don't want to go to like beyond the Caribbean? You want to go beyond like, Europe? I was like, yeah, of course. So I looked up travel. I'm like, man, this is expensive. So she was like, well, let's see. I was like, well, how many countries is it? We looked it up. It was like, this was like 10 years ago. I was like, it's 195 from the UN, right? So based on the UN, of course, it's over 200, but the UN based is 195. I was like, well, look, let's go to at least 100, half of them. And in that process of saying like where we wanted to go, once you started looking beyond deals Like, it's crazy because now you see deals that go to the Maldives, right? We've been to the Maldives in 2016. We've been like 3 times. But in 2016, there weren't a lot of deals. It was more so, you either use your points and miles or you pay that ticket. Once we realized it was, the cost wise, I was like, it's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way. I started looking into point systems. I followed all sorts of loyalty lobby, the points guy. Started looking it up, and a lot of things that I noticed was everything just showed me where you can go, not actually how you can accumulate that many, or they didn't tell you the subs and stuff like that. And I just got into it. I originally I was researching on my own. I paid, I'm not going to say that. I paid one time $250, and I realized they didn't tell me anything. Right? It was like $250 wasted. I was like, I could have just found this online. It wasn't nothing special. So I just started diving in myself, getting into the points and miles. It took me about a year to master it. I would say once I got into it, it was a wrap. Like, it was easy. The 100 countries, again, it was a personal goal. It was about 75 countries in is when people kept asking us, like, how are you doing this? We know you have full-time jobs. Like, you both work. So we were doing a lot of federal holidays. My wife is a federal employee as well. So we would do around the federal holidays, fly a lot, which also was how, like, if we go during New Year's or Christmas, it was also higher. So that's when we had to start using points and miles. And I'm like, there's no way. But I can say as of what are we, 10 to actually about 11 years in, we haven't paid for a hotel in like 9 years. Hotel and resort, I have like 8 million Hilton points now. And then people always think like I'm stockpiling. Like, I promise you I'm not. I make almost 2.5 million a year alone, just in, some of the tricks and the travel that I do.
I think a lot of people listening are probably wondering, how do you have 8 million Hilton points? Like,
Oh man,
where are these coming from? Because a lot of the Hilton credit cards are Amex, so they have the once per lifetime rule. So is it referrals?
So Hilton Grand Vacations, what they don't promote as much is so Hilton Grand Vacations, I don't like timeshare. Like, I'm not a timeshare person at all. Like, to me, they're all crap. That's just my personal opinion. So for me, Hilton Grand Vacations, they transfer their points to Hilton Honors. So if you transfer your points prior to the year, the normal rate is 25-1, right? And if you purchase it, if you switch it in the year, then it's 20-1. Well, they have certain properties that are 50-1. And I learned that quick. In the way I learned was baptism by fire. I went the wrong route, right? I owned it like Vegas, some bullshit, some BS, right? They was like, oh, you should get into this because this one is 50-1 and the maintenance fees is only $12.49 a year. I was like, oh, that's I was paying $1,700. I was like, that. So I got that. It's 50-1. I own 20,000 points. So 20,000 times 50 is your 2 million points a year alone. And my referrals, I have all 6. So I actually only have the personal. People are like, why don't you get the business? I was like, it's too many cards. I'm at like 20 cards now. So my wife has the 3 Hiltons and I have the 3 Hiltons, and they all go to one account. And I max out on referrals every year. It's 80,000 points each. So the max you can get is 80,000 points each Hilton. And we have 6 of them. So 6 and 8 is 480,000. So that 480,000 plus my 2 million, there's 2.4 million right there. So you spend, let's say 15,000 on the Surpasses. We both have the Surpass that we spend though in the Hilton. We figured out how to do it where you get the 12 points on the dollar. So it's built as a Hilton. So I had another like just 30 grand at 12 on the dollars, like 720,000 points. I use my Surpass because I'm like, if I'm going to use my Surpass, I need to hit the 15,000. My Aspire, I never use it. I only use it for the airline. For the hotel itself. And the reason why is because that spend 60,000 to get a free night. I'm like, no, I'd rather, use my 2 Surpasses, get that free night. And then we both have the Aspire. So that's another free night. That's 4 nights a year alone. But I've managed now. I'm at to the point where it's average about 2.5, million a year. Like I said, all it takes me is 1 year not to do. Like, now that we have little ones, I'm afraid like my stuff just starts stockpiling is because we're gonna, when my 2 daughters, when they're 5 and above, we're not gonna be traveling during the school year too much. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go from like 10 to 12 times a year. We already went from 10 to 12 to 6. It was in the pandemic. We went 6 times last year, to the point where both of my daughter, so one of my daughters, Nubia, is 2, and then my daughter to come in like 2 weeks, Nala, she will be, newborn, so we'll have that 2 year where we could, it's free. But it's gonna be one that I'm telling my wife, like, man, we're gonna start like we will probably be over 10 million because we're not using them. So now I do things like we'll go to the Conrad Maldives, all those high-end resorts that people like, oh, it takes 200,000 points a night. We'll do it because we have it. Why not?
So this is fascinating because I don't think anybody on the show has ever talked about Hilton Grand Vacations anymore. And the way it sounds, it's almost just like passive income of Hilton points. How does this work? You like buy into a timeshare, and if you don't use your timeshare nights because you're staying at other hotels, they'll just credit you points into your account, and then you can get them.
But anyhow, this is how it works. Hilton Grand Vacations, they give you a point. You buy into points. You know how everybody's, oh, my Hilton Grand Vacation, my timeshare is points now, not nights. So you can buy a 7,500 point package, 5,000 point package, blah, 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 right? So you buy the package, and that's Hilton Grand Vacation package. Now, 2 weeks will run you like 14,000 points. I looked it up in Thailand. I was like, a week to 2 weeks could be like 14,000 points of their Hilton Grand Vacation points. And I was like, I've been to Thailand. I'm not going to use all my points for that. So they were like, well, look, we do Hilton Honors. You can convert them to Hilton Honors. So the conversion is this. Hilton Grand Vacation points are different from Hilton Honors. And the conversion rate is, if you go online, you just go to them, it's 25-1 so if my use year is 2022, right? So before this year hit, you have until the end of January. So I would convert my points. They're on auto conversion. They already know. I say, don't even ask me because I don't want them. Just transfer them to Hilton Honors. So the normal rate is 25-1 before the use year. And if you use it during the use year, like you go, oh, I realize I'm not going to use them, and you try to transfer them on February 1, it's going to be 20-1. Well, there's only actually 5 properties that's 50-1. And they don't market it and boast it too much because people start calling in and asking for it. Anybody with common sense, if you go to the timeshare presentation in Vegas, which is normally 25-1, right? It's 20 to 25-1. You're being sold at Vegas. Vegas is not going to tell you about these other 5 because they're trying to get their commission. The other 5 are really 50-1. And that's where you want to buy, because those are the people like me. I don't want to use your timeshare. The people in Vegas, they sell you on a timeshare like, oh, you can come back here every year, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go to Vegas every year. I don't even want to go to Cancun every year. So for me, I always transfer them. So once I got in and they saw how I was doing it, that's how Nate came about. He saw my account and he saw that I was always transferring. So I think he was it a code? He emailed me or something. I was like, what? No, it was a cold call. And I talked to him on the phone. And I was like, look, man, get past it. This is how we got. Don't shoot the shit. Just get past all the BS. I was like, just tell me what the price is. He was like, well, look, you like to transfer. You're never going to use it, right? I was like, I'm never going to use it. So he was like, if you like to transfer, I'll show you about this 50-1 property. And that sparked my interest. So I bought into it. And I tell people, like, I spent about $60,000. So here's how I spent my $60,000. Hilton Grand Vacations. So I don't like owning. I don't like debt. So my wife and I already own it. We bought it maybe 2 years ago, and it took us 2 years to pay it off, right? Because we don't do debt. But this is up to people. I tell people, build up to it. You don't jump right in. You can build up, because what they do is they'll let you know, like any timeshare. Oh, we'll give you the credit of how much you spent and give you back. And they do. And it works when you do points and miles. When you do Hilton Grand Vacations inflation, they just go up in the points. Like you go up, but then it goes up in points. So anyhow, this is what it does. 25-1 is normal. 50-1, they go this. If you transfer your points 50-1 every year, you can't use it. You don't use the timeshare side. That's fine. That's not what you want. And it costs about the transfer fee. It's $99 or something. They got to get something for the fee. So it's like $99. I think it's $99. You do it online yourself, or like $109 or something like that. $99 or $109. So you include that, and then your maintenance fees. The 60,000 points, because it's a Hilton Grand Vacations, if you use your Hilton credit card, you get the Hilton rate. So if you have the Aspire, it's 14-1. If you have the Surpass, it's 12-1. And the Honors is 7-1. I knew that we needed to hit 15K on the Surpass. We both have 2. So 15K a year, that was 30K total, right? 15 on my wife's Surpass, 15 on mine. 1 year, half of my timeshare paid. The second year, 15 and 15, 2 year. Timeshare is paid off. Now we just pay maintenance fees. Is the monthly that people can't, stomach. They're like, I can't do $1,000 a month or whatever, because you don't want to do that for 30 years. Just pay it off fast or build it up. So I did jump in because we we don't have debt. So we don't, we save a lot of money every year. So I was like, babe, maybe this year we're not going to save 10,000 a month. We're only going to save 5 because I want to pay off this Hilton Grand Vacations faster. So we did that and we got points off of it. That's the other thing. The 60,000 times 12, that's the 720,000 right there. Points, just in general. And then you get a bonus sign up. There's so many ways. I tell people all day, I can show you how to get 2 million points like that. And not a lot of spending. Not always we'll say $1 million. I'll say $1 million. Because even though most of my people have over $1 million, to be modest, I'll say $1 million points. Yeah, I can show you how to get $1 million points easily, and try to sustain it every year without doing too much spending. I would say except the Surpass cards, because that's a part of it. So knowing that if you have the Surpass card, you spend at least 15 grand in a year, then yes. You can do that, then yes, I can help you get $1 million points.
This is fascinating and one of the best stacks that I've heard of. So in summary, it took about $60,000 and you get like a passive million or so Hilton points each year. Yep. 2 million points each year. And for that 60,000, you broke it up into 4 payments of 15,000 so that you were able to put those on Surpass cards, get 4 free Hilton nights out of it, which you can spend anywhere for the weekend night rates.
I'm never paying for a hotel or resort. That's like my goal. And if I can, well, now I can, I will. My daughters they're going to be on game. By the time they're 10, they're already going to know exactly everything to do, and they're not paying for hotels either because I'm going to pass it right on to them.
That is a good point. So a lot of timeshare presentations, they'll be like, oh, and it's like an asset that you can like pass on to your children or whatever. And as most people sit through timeshare presentations, their eyes roll back when they're like, oh my God, this is a burden to me. I don't want this to be a burden to my kids. But your passive Hilton points, millions each year, those get passed on to your daughters and it's paid for forever.
Yep. And there's why it's almost like, generational, the generational wealth, and it's just as in points. People will look at it like, yeah, if they use, my daughters use it for the timeshare, which they never do. They're going to be like, my daddy already told me not to do it. They would have to take away the honors aspect for it not to work because, yes, and as long as I can pass it on, they're always going to have these points. And the 2 million is now. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to get it 2. I'm going to be at some point, I'm going to probably be at like 5 million a year. That's going to be at some point the goal is to start consolidating and buy another package. But, we're not going to do it right now because we're trying to do other things. And 2 million is more than enough. But the other things that people don't look at is it's always ways to work it. I wish it was Marriott because Marriott now points can transfer 100,000 points. It's about 30,000 miles. But Hilton can transfer to Delta. So Hilton's 100,000 points of Hilton is 10,000 miles on Delta. You get it to a higher amount, start using Delta. But I just wish, I'm hoping that Hilton gets because they're usually a little better than Marriott. They start to piggyback off each other. But I saw that Marriott points you can transfer.
Oh, if you could transfer these 2 million Hilton points into different airlines, game over. I want to circle back to something that you said earlier, because when you say you are looking into new properties for timeshares, I think that's something that people don't ever think about because most people are like, I don't want one timeshare. Why in the world would I want multiple timeshares? But you can actually scale this Hilton Grand Vacations hack, right? Like you can buy into multiple properties. And so somebody could get a passive 500,000 Hilton points a year or get a passive 1 million or 2 million. Or if they're like, you know what? I've got 7 kids and you can just buy more of these properties. There's currently only 5 that you said that do the 50x conversion.
I have a guy. It's going to be straight up. Now, the thing about my guy, and you tell him, Ronnie, here's the key. When you sign up, you can sign up with anyone. You're only one person, not one. I know other people probably do the hustle, but I know Nate helps it, is that you want to get the bonus points on the sign up. Just like a sign up, a sub, right? So what he does is, I think I got, I told him, I was like, well, I want 2 million points. It's my bonus, right? My bonus was, so the only problem about the bonus points is the bonus points only equivalent to 25 to 1. So they only equate to 25 to 1. So I was like, all right, 25 to 1. I need at least I need over 25,000 points of Hilton Grand Vacations and bonus points to give me 2 million. So, depending on the size of your package, he gives you the max. So he's going to get his commission anyway. Of course, they don't want to tell people about the bonus points. So that's why he's like, look, Ronnie, if they don't come through you, I'm not telling them, unless they ask me for bonus points, I'm not saying it. I was like, all right, say less. because he knows that everyone in my group or anyone I'm talking to, I always tell them, you say, because they also have to say to him. So they just know to say it off the jump. Go, hey, what type of bonus points am I gonna get? He knows, and if he says Ronnie, like he knows, but he still can't say it first. Now I'm recording lines, so he can't say it. But all my people, I tell people, ask for bonus points. You want to ask for bonus points because when you ask for the bonus points, now that's one part. The second part, what people don't know, and I found the loophole is, so you do have to buy into the property first, right? Once you buy into the property and you have a contract, then you can go buy resale properties. Now the resale properties, you won't get the bonus, but you're going to get like pennies on a dollar. All those people who want to sell their timeshare because they hate it, I'm that guy that's going to buy it as long as I can connect it to mine. I'm not going to buy it if I can't get 50 to 1. So I'm not, you know what I mean? And you have to have a 50 to 1 property, and then it has to go up under it. So you have to buy a real one first. I mean, not a real one, the high one, the high price one first, and then you start buying all the little ones. And that's my goal. The thing about timeshare, you can rent them out and stuff like that. But for me, which is why I'm not really, I don't know if I go more than 5 million. Maybe it depends, because 2 million evaluation. Because here's the thing, that the maintenance fees don't change. Well, no, not don't change. They go up. They don't go down. You know what I mean? So maintenance fees is the one thing you have to look at. So right now I'm at an evaluation. I'm paying $1,250 a year for 2 million points. It's pretty, it's good evaluation considering if you buy Hilton points, even in the double point promo, you're paying $1,600 for 320,000 points. People on that side, they think, oh, that's great. I'm like, I'm paying $1,250 for 2 million. So it's like, yes, it's an investment first, but get past that part. It's very simple. And I don't have any problem. I help people all the time. I have a group, I'll talk about it as well, where we go over this. I literally step by step. I don't like to repeat myself to several people, so I just do a Zoom call. Everybody's taking notes. We all do it together. Knock it out. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. And when you mentioned you can buy other people's timeshare properties for pennies on the dollar, everybody wants to get rid of their timeshare because it's almost predatory how people get bamboozled into buying timeshares, where instead of a bonus, a sign-up bonus, like you were mentioning, people are offered like a bottle of champagne or one limo ride. I kid you not. People will put down like the same 60,000 that you put down for nothing. Like timeshare salesmen, oh my God, the hard sell. And they're like, it's for your kids.
Yeah, all the time. And the 60,000 I didn't put up. I financed it. Just like anything, I just ended up financing. So that's another thing you can do. If you have good credit, finance it through them, right? Originally, because they give you the bonus points. And then I turned around and I went to like my Navy Federal and I just got a 0% financing on it. And and moved it over. So I did it for like the first year. You could do your Navy Federal card. I've done that where even with the Navy Federal, I'll put the 15 on my Hilton Surpass to get the 15,000, and then take that and transfer it to my Navy Federal for the 0% financing, and just pay it for the year. It's like $1,500 a little more a month, pay it off in a year, and that's it. I didn't pay any finance charges on it, and at the same time, I got my Hilton Surpass.
If you are listening to this episode thinking, I wish I could travel like this, but I don't know where to start, I offer free credit card consultations by email at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. Additionally, I host a masterclass and group coaching session each month through the Patreon. We've also added a new Patreon feature. Once you've been in the Patreon for 12 consecutive months, I will gift you a vacation voucher to the city of your choice. I've also added an option to sign up for an annual membership. With this option, you will get 2 free masterclasses each year, and you'll get your vacation package voucher upfront. You can find more information about the vacation vouchers, consultations, and more in the show notes. This week's Patreon shoutout goes out to Mona. Thank you so much for being a part of the Geobreeze Travel Patreon community. So this is fascinating. Anything else that people should know about like the structure of the Hilton Grand Vacations hack of how you're passively earning millions of Hilton points per year?
The Hilton Grand Vacations, the only best thing is, again, you want to get a 50 to 1 property, and that's it. And you want to always transfer it, before the use year. Technically you can transfer it within the month of January of the use year. So you have until until the end of January to transfer. So I just have it on auto. You go online, you do it yourself. It is about I think it's 109 actually. I think it's a 109 transfer fee. I don't think it's 99 anymore. I think it went up. So, there's little peanuts, whatever. And of course, you use a card that's going to get you points too. So you do that as well. I use the Hilton card to pay for it to get 12 points on the dollar. But it's one of those, it's not don't dive in. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Research a little bit or ask questions. I did everything I do. So don't, this couple things with me is I do not promote anything I don't do myself. Instead of getting on a person to say they don't know this, say, hey, here's a little better way. Here's a new trick. Let them throw it into their arsenal. And that's what even my tricks of travel. My tricks of travel is not to tell you like this is how you should do it. All it is an enhancement. Whatever you're doing is an enhancement. If you're not doing nothing, then clearly it's even, if you're doing nothing, then it's definitely teaching you everything. And if it's, if you know, I tell people like, I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. I don't think no one person knows everything. Because if you get, there's people as Team Marriott, if you're all into Marriott, then that's all you're really going to know. And then I'll show you the evaluation of how Hilton is better. It's not because it's better as a property. It's better in terms of earning.
That's a really good point so I'm T Hyatt and we make fun of Hilton all the time because if you're just earning it the normal way on credit cards, then it's going to be about half a cent per point, where like one Hilton point earned from a credit card is going to be like a fourth of what one Amex or one Chase point on a credit card is worth. But I didn't even know about any of this. So this is absolutely fascinating. And just great advice about taking it slow first, because I'm sure some people are listening to this and they're like, I must buy 5 properties, like all of the 5 properties. I need to buy into all of them. I need to spend gazillions of dollars. Don't do that. Like, go first. There's a reason that I'm not asking about the 5 properties because people are just going to Google them. And first of all, like, again, as we always say on the show, use somebody's links, reach out to Ronnie. He'll connect you with Nate, his guy, so they can walk you through what the actual process is on this. But also start slow so that you can kind of get the hang of it.
Build up. No, absolutely build up. If you can't afford, not you know what? I'm not even going to tell I can afford it because people go, I can't afford it. Think of a number that you're ready to give away a month, right? So it's like, you know what? I can afford $200-$300 a month. So then you get into a property that's about that rate. And that's what I tell Nate. I said, Nate, when my people come to you, don't try to sell them. They already know the 50-1. Let's start there. Don't sell them the BS. Just put them in a package that's going to work. So first thing he asks once he says, Ronnie referred me, is like, well, how much can you afford a month? Simple as that. How much can you afford? Less many points. So some people might say, well, I want to get this many points a year. Like, well, you got to build up to that. So then you can work with at least the bonus. He'll help you with the bonus points. And the bonus points he gives you, he'll give you the max that he can give you. It's just that people have to understand that the higher the package, the higher the bonus points. Like, I bought a $60,000 package. Yeah, I can get 2 million bonus points. He gave me probably more points than he needed, but it was right at pandemic. So that was another thing too. So I got in and got a lot more bonus points than I should have, purely because it was a pandemic. Nobody was buying nothing anyway. So any sale at that point, they were like, yeah. And that was another thing. I was a lot of people in my group that joined because I told them, I said, look, this is the time to get it. These people are, the Hiltons, everything was, bad, especially tourism. When they shut down everything, I was like, buy these deals, get these deals now, but whatever.
Great advice. Speaking of great advice, can you give shout outs to other people who listeners should go follow for great points and miles content?
I like Zach. I'm trying to think Zach's his name.
Zachary Burr-Abel from Monkey Miles.
He's funny. He's funny. I love Zach. I follow him. I love his content because he's funny. And he, I always laugh and tell my group, I was like, because now I'll repost and stuff. Because I'm like, I say this all the time. I'm like, use his and I throw my link because he's already saying everything. He already created the content. I don't need to do it. But Zach he's funny. I like Zach. He's funny and he's spot on. He actually put me on to the AARP. I didn't know AARP, you could get it at any age. I was like, what? Right. So my wife used to joke all the time. Now she got AARP too. I was like, now you got it too. But I didn't even know that any age could have the AARP card. So I learned that from Zach. He's one. I say Tosh. So Travel Goddess International is her company name. But I think it's Tosh Wills. It's she has 2. But Travel Goddess International, she is a travel agent and travel hacker. So I taught her the system and then she just took, and I tell people, I'm like, I'm just going to give you the blueprint. You take it, you enhance it. And my way is not the only way. It's a blueprint for you to enhance. She took the game and just, what? I was like, if I was in the customer service, I hate dealing with people and customer service in terms of booking stuff for people. I could never be a travel agent. Not to say I just could not. You'd be like, I need to go here and then all the changing. I couldn't do it. So she has a travel agency, a full service travel agency. I watched her grow from literally ground up, only her, to now the company that she has. And it all started. I just did an interview with her. Maya, do it like a Zoom call. And I'm amazed. I mean, the money. And so now I'm about to like invest in your company or something, because I'm amazed how she uses the hacks and the business. So anybody wants to learn, like, you don't just want to earn the points and miles, right? Because she's going to teach you kind of what I have anyhow. She'll tell you to go to Tricks of Travel, of course. And then she'll show you the business side of it, how to make money and points. Definitely game changer. And that's make money, though, more so being like a travel agent or travel agency, not I do mine is a different business way I'm teaching. Hers is the business way, being an agent and making money. Like, she's killing it. I was telling her, I was like, you get that the business platinum and the AMX, that's 5 points on the dollar. Every single client, she's getting 5 points on the dollar on all their flights. Anything. So I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, think of how many clients she has that she books flights and she's getting 5 points per dollar on every one of those. Killing it. Definitely killing it. But she's one I would follow. And a third, Erica, hers not always, she's about hacking on life. So she has hacked with the points too, but then she has other things. She's a lawyer. She has like 2 million followers.
She's got like 3 million on Instagram, 7 million on TikTok. Erica Kuhlberg is who I hope to become when I grow up. She's amazing. I met her in real life. She's so nice too.
I've never met her, but Erica is funny. She's another one. Her and Zach, I love their videos and their reels, but hers is good for just all. She does travel hacks too, but like the life hacks. Like, she definitely that's why she has that many followers, because she covers almost everything.
Fantastic. And where can we find you on the internet?
So the website, you could just go to road100countries.com. So road, TO, the number 100countries.com. That goes to all my social medias. My name is my social media on Instagram, which is just Ronnie Dunston, RONNIEDUNSTON. So Ronnie Dunston is my name. And again, if you just go to road100countries.com, everything from our group, Facebook group, Instagram, Twitter. I don't have TikTok yet. I'm actually starting TikTok. Everybody's like, why are you on TikTok? So I'm old, but I'm starting TikTok. I'm launching volume 2 of my Tricks of Travel next week. The other thing I would say is also when they DM is I do have a Tricks of Travel course. I have something where it's only $20 to make it real cheap because I'm trying to build the network and get more money from the companies. So my Tricks of Travel system is a course, step-by-step course, giving you the fundamentals of volume 1. And then it's a group. We have a very supportive group where you have to pay for the course. It's only $20. And then that gives you access to the group. The reason why we do that is because now you pay vested interest into it. It's not one of those, just you come in and ask a million questions. You have no skin in the game. So the group we have, and then we do free monthly Zoom calls in the group. They're all recorded and they're all posted so people can't make it. So Tricks of Travel system is really what I'm all about now, is teaching people. It's helping the same way I'm on this podcast on you. The Tricks of Trade, we do it. It's all in one group, one segment, and it's all free. I mean, it's $20 to get in. It's like paying a $20 membership, and it's a one-time fee. It's not every year. People are like, why don't you make a subscription? It's like, I'll do something else for the subscription. For that, it's just to teach people and get everybody together. And that's on my website as well.
Well, thank you, Ronnie, so much for coming onto the show today and teaching us about this Hilton Grand Vacations hack and how you passively earn like 2 million Hilton points a year. I've never heard of this before. I think it's absolutely fascinating. I know that I don't know if anybody who's ever talked about this before, so I'm sure you're going to get a ton of messages on Instagram from everybody listening to this. But thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Geobreeze Travel Podcast. If any of the cards mentioned in today's episode piqued your interest, please check out the links in the show notes for more information on any of the cards. Also, if you apply for a card using the links on that page, I may receive a commission too, so please and thank you. P.S. I hear the links work better in Internet Explorer or Safari, and sometimes the credit card applications tend to glitch out in Chrome. Additionally, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to this podcast, leave a 5-star review, and share it with a friend. And if you would like to make even more travel hacking friends, please sign up for the Patreon to access our monthly masterclass hangouts. We dive deep into a particular points program each month, and you'll get to ask all of your travel hacking questions and enjoy being around other people who enjoy points and miles just as much as you and I do. If you would like an invite to the next one, head over to geobreezetravel.com/hangouts to sign up to be on the invite list. Take care and happy travels!